belong to a person. They belong to a Nazi werewolf. So you're going to see it. Yes, you're going to see who they belong to, and you're going to see the moment of breaking out. Actually, there's a trailer that we're going to show in a little bit that will show you a lot more. We actually. It's a pretty spoilery trailer, but I think it sets up the season and the mystery pretty nicely.
Season 5 wrapped a lot of things up really neatly. So can you talk about kind of deciding where to go from there and developing season 6?
It was a lot of the times these seasons get dictated sort of by what's the new mythology we feel like pursuing, and the Wild Hunt and the Ghost Riders kind of lent itself to a lot of things actually that we needed to do within this new season. I kind of thought 520 was going to be a series finale, so we've written a few season finales that actually feel like series finales, partly because we treat each season like it's its own book. I feel like it should have a sort of ending. The cliffhangers are usually there just to throw a good question or a good teaser for the next season, but you'll see. It's the jumping off point was the mythology and this new mystery we've come up with.
And Cody Christian is obviously here, so what can you kind of tease? I mean, Sophia, season 6, he's back.
Yes.
Okay.
They had to dig him up. You'll see a little bit of that in the trailer. But for us, it was really not a question of whether he would come back, just if and when. When.
Speaking of the Ghost Riders too, what can you tell us that we don't already know from what we learned in season 5? Is there anything we can tease about the mythology?
Yes, we tie the Ghost Riders into kind of the real world mythology of mass disappearances. So you'll see how this affects in a bit of a global way. Our Beacon Hills kids actually do venture well outside of Beacon Hills in this season.
Are we going to encounter any new mythological creatures over the course of the next season?
Well, we split the seasons up into 2 parts, so the Ghost Riders will be there for the first 10 episodes. You may encounter new ones in the next 10 episodes, which we're going to figure out at some point.
Okay.
And you talked about taking a step back for season 6 and trying to pass the reins a little bit.
Yeah.
How did that end up going for you, and what was it like looking at the season sort of as an outsider this time?
It's interesting. I was there in the writer's room most every day, but I was definitely not as involved as I was in previous seasons, especially with production rewrites and stuff. I only did a production rewrite on one script. Mostly it was really trying to hand it off to the writers and to the production team and to be able to take a vacation. I always joke that I was kind of like a countess in Downton Abbey, once a weekend. So I had no weekends. People outside of the business, I don't think they really understand just how much work it takes to put 20 to 24 episodes of TV out a year. And to try to make them each good. Some of them don't turn out so well, and you kind of have to grit your teeth in post-production, wish you had another day to shoot, wish you had the money to go back and reshoot a certain scene. It's funny because I look at all the news about Rogue One doing reshoots. That's standard. We wish we had more money and more time to do more reshoots. Sometimes you don't know how a scene is going to play until you've actually filmed it. That turned into a lot longer answer than I expected. I didn't remember the question.
You said there would be a definitive video moment in the premiere. Can you give us anything more on that?
No.
No?
You'll have to watch.
Okay.
And Teen Wolf has a lot of really interesting relationships and new hookups all the time. Can you tease any new pairings that we might see in this season?
Well, we're building the romances that we've been concentrating on in like season 5 and throughout the seasons. I think it's an interesting season for Scott to go it alone. Posey's talked a little bit about that in the press, but I think it's kind of cool. And the writers have been concentrating on Liam and Hayden, Mason and Corey, and I quite like seeing where those two relationships head. But we really went for mystery, kind of ghost story this season, and I give great credit to the writers for taking the reins and really running with it. Reins, pun intended.
There's been a remarkable inclusion of LGBT characters and characters of color as well. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the importance to you of that kind of representation and what it means in terms of modern television and the direction of it.
It's hugely important to me as a gay man myself. I want to see representations on TV, and I want to see, personally, I want to see relationships that are good. I also want to see, it's a little difficult for me because I know there's certain sections of fandom that believe that some of these, I know you want them to have a good death or a good, but I don't want to think that LGBT characters, LGBTQ plus, A plus characters, are untouchable. We want the same dramatic things to happen to them. We had good narrative reason to kill Mason. I would say maybe. But it's hard because I love Kylan. But if it made a great story, you want to go where the great story takes you. But I want to see gay relationships on TV so badly. I wish that we had space to put other characters in that showed it. I'm working on a new show that should be going to pilot soon, where that's going to be a very heavy issue as well. So it's something that needs to be there, and I have great respect and admiration for Kylan because there are not many black gay characters on television, and it can be a scary thing for a straight actor to play gay. Because they believe they'll get typecast. So he's been fearless about it, which is awesome.
Do you feel like a certain amount of pressure for, because you're kind of venturing into new territory, and do you feel like you have to tread carefully with like what you do and don't do with these characters?
I think you do now. I think there's a bit too much focus on what you can do with those characters, what you can do with gay, lesbian characters, and eventually hopefully there'll be enough characters so that it won't feel like the trope, kill your gays trope, that a gay character can get killed on a show and it won't be a big deal because there are enough gay characters on television to not make it seem like it's an unusual thing. Because TV these days, they kill everyone. It's true. Their bodies dropping on every show. And it's doesn't even have to be Game of Thrones. Didn't Empire kill off 2 lesbians? I don't watch the show, but I read it's like, I didn't know they killed everyone on Empire. Thank you for asking those questions. They're very important to me. Yes, the answer is we're always trying to do better.
Absolutely. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.